it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. We're zooming in and focusing in today on the narcissist and responsibility, the psychopath and responsibility. Contrary to their public persona or the persona or illusion that they project into the relationship with you, oftentimes is one of authority. One of authority. In other words, being better than others, being better than you, being above you, being smarter than, better looking, more talented, richer, having the right opinion, the right religion, the right musical taste, the right food taste, the right religious practices, the right way to conduct your health, the right way to conduct your lifestyle. So the narcissist is someone who always wants to appear better than others, even if it means them being smug and non-communicative. The responsibility is a huge, important aspect. Just the whole topic and concept of responsibility is crucial to understand when you're trying to move through and work through some things in a relationship that's been very hurtful with someone who could be a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a parent or a colleague, particularly at the workplace or in your community. No matter how broad, I mean, you might be, the head of a global or a national company, and you might see this at all different levels of family and work. So when we talk about responsibility for the narcissist and the psychopath, it is widely known that the psychopath, particularly when it gets even more severe, there is a lack of responsibility and accountability to others, and giving them a distorted and twisted sense of authority over them in order to keep their illusion going, their narcissism going. What is it like to be in a relationship with someone who is narcissistic, particularly when it comes to responsibility? What is it like to be in a position or in a relationship with someone who is psychopathic and responsibility? And how does this negatively impact you and cause you hurt, pain, and suffering, and despair, and self-doubt that can plague you and be very difficult to remove and, sort of work as a catharsis from your life? Let's look at that of the narcissist first. So the narcissist, their number one responsibility to themselves and to the world is to be the number one, to be better than, they have a pathological sense of self-importance coupled with a lack of empathy. So let's look at the first topic, the pathological sense of self-importance. It is their opinion that is always the more important one. It is their viewpoint which is always the more important one. So there's an experience of sort of being edged out or not wanting to be communicated with or not being heard when you're with this person. So if you feel that you're constantly being shut down, your opinions, you don't get a chance to air them or communicate or laugh or share your joys or your happiness or something, that you want to give, is usually up for scrutiny with these people because they're highly judgmental, and this pathological sense of self-importance gives them the place for their judgment to really proliferate or be very intense or severe. So being exposed to this person of pathological sense of self-importance gives them the illusion that they are an authority, and authority not just on a subject but over others, particularly when you get into romantic relationships or marriages, in my viewpoint, or especially when you get into closer work environments where there's sort of a competition or a need to interact with this person, that you're going to experience this tension and this responsibility. So the narcissist's responsibility to themselves and to others is to be the number one. So it causes them, on the flip side, for people who are in relationships with them, to feel that this person is sometimes a wanted authority. In other words, they want to please this person, So to adapt and adjust, and in other words, people who are with them, I feel especially in the beginning, have to be ultra flexible and adapt and adjust to their authority. So they can have the authority, but oftentimes they assume authority in places where it's not needed, especially to others who need to exercise their own authority. People need to be able to exercise their own authority over themselves and to be able to know and have the right to their own opinion, their own feelings, their own concerns, their own preferences, their own interests, and to be validated as such, particularly owning, the feet that are underneath you and where you stand, because when you stand, you've got your heart and you've got your mind and you've got your gut, okay? And then you have your body language, okay? And you have consciousness and you have an interaction within yourself and an interaction with the environment. Part of getting it in life is being able to be responsible for your own self and not being able to have authority, dismissing this irreverent authority. Irreverent meaning they're disrespectful of your boundaries and your own standards, which means your space and interacting with it in a humane, supportive manner. Not that they have to be the perfect supporter, but balanced as such. So the real harm when we talk about relationships with narcissists or psychopaths, I feel for the victims, is that they don't have a chance to have authority and experience their own authority, their own empowerment, their own being, their own I am. Guys, it doesn't get any more important than this. It's an inalienable human right to own your feelings and to own your own set of logic and to own your own set of values and be able to share them with others and not to be cut down, insinuated with false accusations that there's something. The narcissist, in other words, getting back to their responsibility, is to always be the one. This room ain't big, this town ain't big enough for the both of us, this world, there's this tension, okay, a tension when you are with this individual. And oftentimes there is a deprivation that a victim or a target will experience of being able to communicate and have thought forms and thoughts that, build and lead and create you, give you a blueprint and a path and a map. So you need to realize that the authority that this narcissist will assume over all topics, just like a blanket net, like they're just an authority, over all this. You can't, you don't know how to, cool down the house the right way. We need to shut the windows. We need to open the windows over here. We need to get the fan going here. You need to walk over this way. You can't have this window open. I mean, there's a control, and you just to the point where you just feel that, there's no winning. In other words, they have to be right. There is an insatiable need to have power and control. Do you see how this can be directly disempowering and disengage the natural ability to adapt and adjust to life, the environment, the relationship, and to be flexible as such? Do you see how this gives a rigidity and a deprivation to those individuals who are trying to live and grow and apply themselves and just be? Okay, there's a truncating of this experience. And that's why people oftentimes feel that they can't get up, they can't leave the house, they feel nervous going to the grocery store. Someone might be looking at them. They might be wanting, oh my God, you want an ice cream, you want a pizza, you want a frozen yogurt. It's very difficult then to have authority over yourself and your own needs. Your own needs to be loved, to have intimacy, to have affection, to have touch, to have hugging, kissing, eye contact, conversation, to be listened to be interacted with. Okay, these are normal, natural human needs. Otherwise, it's very isolating, it's very lonely, there's a lot of self-doubt. It can be a beautiful world, but it feels very limiting and it's restricting, and oftentimes it's because that authority has been stripped away from your heart, your mind, your gut, and your very feet, and your very hands, and your very shoulders. It becomes just a tension. People armor up, they're just, everything is just, they're armored up with tension, or they have an apathy, which is just like a shutting down, a sort of surrender, and I give up. I can't do this anymore. That's very, very uncomfortable. So once again, getting back into the narcissist and authority. So I feel that in the beginning of the relationship, you have to relinquish your rights, your human rights, and your authority over what you know to be intrinsically correct and good for you in your best interest. You have to sacrifice or bleed out or have it leached out by this relationship dynamic. Because if they don't strip away your authority, then they have another viewpoint to contend with. And the narcissist is very rigid, meaning unable to be flexible. And, take into consideration other people's viewpoints, have a discussion, have a debate even, have a conversation. Usually you'll find that it becomes very limited, if not existent at all, or non-existent. And then the responsibility, the problem, especially if this has been a parent or a boss to you, that then they always have the authority. So a victim never feels that they have authority over themselves, authority over anything. They will suffer feeling an inadequacy, and even if they're in a very highly responsible job, they'll do a wonderful job, they'll get the work done, they'll get awards, they'll do great things for the company or the department, yet they will feel inadequate. They will get applause, awards, certificates, great emails, smiles, high fives, but deep inside, they don't feel that they own it. They don't see that they individually have made these accomplishments. It's because of, they can't validate it, they can't experience it, they can't own it. It's an internal experience. The internal environment is where the work is and where you have to really open up. It's like grand opening, first day, put up the balloons, put up the flags. It's the grand opening of your life. It's like, swing open the doors, let the crowds come in. You have something of value. That is what your life should be like. In fact, I hope for today, it's like a grand opening for you, because you're now inviting people to experience, and for you to experience the fact that you are a person of value and that you are responsible for yourself. You're not accepting the negative authority over you, which tells you you can't, you're not good enough, or does things to destroy your finest moments. Your finest moments. You'll oftentimes find that a narcissist, to get back their crown, to get back their trophy, to get back their persona or their illusion, or being the best, or being the one who the attention should be on, they're going to pull some strings, they're going to do something freaky, they're going to cheat on you, they're not going to make the dinner that they said that they were going to make, they're not going to pick you up. All of a sudden, the night is off, the weekend is off, we're no longer on vacation, then you have to pussyfoot back to them, and then you don't get to enjoy your own accomplishments, because, you're going to get the sneers, the looks, the withholding of affection, the things that you finally thought you'd get approval for. Now that I'm married, now that I have a daughter, now that I have a son, this person will finally see me for the person that I am. Nope, it ain't gonna happen. You think logically, just when it should happen, it's not gonna fly. It is important. The world needs for you to shine. The world needs for you, the universe is beckoning and calling for you to have authority over yourself, your wellness, your own thought patterns, and your ability to communicate. Whether you communicate artistically, You might communicate with a paintbrush. You might communicate with a drumstick. You might communicate with a pick. You might communicate through yoga. You might communicate through taking a walk. You might communicate through starting a movement, something that you care about. You might have communication just by reading and having that back and forth and then sharing this. You need to understand that the narcissist will try and attempt to have authority over you because it gives them a sense of dominion and a dopamine hit. Okay, but it doesn't, it's like they're looking at you with blind eyes. Oftentimes people feel that they're not really seen, they're not really heard, that they're invisible, there's something missing. And even as they move through life in their journey, there's something that quite still, it's like a little crag, it's like a little splinter, something is missing, something still hurts, something is still pounding them from inside. Oftentimes it's that narcissist and the impact of the interactions, the events, the experiences that cause this effect. So it started sometime in the past, okay? There was something that you picked up from that event or experience that made you feel that you were not good enough or didn't have authority, which is an emotional conclusion. It's an emotional summation that you derived as a truth about yourself, which was what we want to address as flawed thinking. Now, the narcissist won't say, "Oh, that's right," da 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 da. The narcissist doesn't want to be challenged, and especially difficult in workplaces when, you're just trying to trying to do your best and become a shining example, and they're there to try to make you fearful, intimidated, threatened at the workplace, given looks, cliques that are created and then that you're not included in, cliques in the family that you're not included in, as a way to show that they're the authority and you're not. So they'll find ways to adapt and adjust and get that appearance of authority back. Let them have the appearance of authority. Let them have authority over their conflicts, and then you have authority over yourself. You have responsibility to yourself. You must choose happiness. You must choose to give up their fight for them. I can't fight your battle for you. I can't wash your hands for you. I can't do that. I can't breathe for you. I have to breathe for myself. I have to walk for myself. I have to move for myself. I have to feel and love for myself. Separate and distinct. It's a trauma bond that keeps you stuck there. Like you try to move further away and it pulls tighter until eventually when you move far enough and then it splits and it breaks and then you're free. It takes that internal work though to dissolve it. Like a Drano cleaner. You pour Drano down and it clears the gunk out. That's what the authority of a narcissist, it's like it gunks up your system so you can't flow. So you have to, put that Drano in, let it sit for 15 or 20 minutes and then flush the hot water. That's kind of like what the work is with getting out of the responsibility, dealing with the irreverent responsibility that a narcissist will try to hold over others. Even though they hold no such authority, you have to basically let them go. Quit the relationship, fire the relationship, fire them as. You have the ability and authority and responsibility to yourself to fire them as a boyfriend, fire them as a girlfriend, fire them as a parent, fire them as a teacher. You're fired, okay? And I know that that's like a popular saying, but to really own it, and maybe you're going to use different words. You're done. You're gone. I'm through. I am finished. I am. Even if you just want to speak those two words with the tone and body language. I have authority over myself. I have authority and responsibility over myself. I choose empowerment for myself. It's difficult to give yourself that gift when you're so used to giving it away. It is like a bad habit. Quit the habit. Have you ever seen someone who has a bad habit? They smoke or whatever it is. They swear or they have nervous, they're biting their nails. Quit the bad habit. quit biting your nails. Quit the bad habit of putting yourself down and giving this individual, this toxic individual, authority over you. Despite the feeling or projection, they do not have authority over you. It's very crucial that you get this. I mean, I could hammer this in for about 8 hours. In fact, I could hammer this in for about 6 months. We really, 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 really need to understand this really, minute part of the dynamic that has huge impact and huge effect on your life and how you pursue it and how you feel free and liberated to pursue those self-sustaining, self-governing, self-actualizing behaviors in feelings and emotions. But people get so engulfed emotionally that it's like an emotional tsunami. It just washes them away. They feel washed away. They feel that they then have to rebuild, but then the tsunami comes back. Well, you have to move your perspective. Take the view, take that ocean view off of the narcissist, put it onto you. You're the one with the ocean view. You're the one with the gorgeous view. You're the one with the beautiful perspective. You're the one who's got the talent. You are the one who knows what's right for you. That is your inalienable human right. And it is really oftentimes those rights which have been slowly dissolved and eroded away, where they take it for them, whether you consciously acknowledge it or not. It's time to wake up and become aware of it now. No matter what this person, if you've been codependent and you kind of feel you're trauma bonded, or it's like riding their coattails, get off the coattails. Stop looking at their back. Stop looking at their shoulders. Stop looking at the back of their head. Step off. Get the feet moving and get a perspective and gorgeous view for yourself. You can do it. Trust me on this. If you embrace this, your responsibility to yourself, you might love oak trees. You might love to, take care of a garden. You might want to plant a baby tree right now. Go get a baby tree and plant it for yourself. And this is the plant, this is the tree that I'm going to give so much love and light, and it's going to be there for me moving forward. In fact, if you want it, you have to get something that's going to perpetually regrow for you or be like a permanent fixture in your life, in your house. I also call this the recovery gift. But there has to be something very important that you give to yourself that is yours. Every time you give it away, pull it back and say, I'm going to get this for myself. I'm going to go and get this person an outfit. I'm going to go and take care of this person's whatever, their dog. Go and get yourself the dog. Go and get yourself the hamster. Go and get yourself the turtle. Go and get yourself the bird feeder. Go and get yourself the bird book. Go and get yourself the new lock and key. Go get yourself the new house. Go get yourself the new music. You have the right. That's your inalienable human right, but these rights are taken away from you when you're in these sort of toxic relationships that annul your boundaries and make you feel that they kind of have like this ownership over you, over your feelings. And even if they don't, it feels that way. And the psychopath, they don't have that foresight to be really responsible. They just kind of live their life on a planned and deliberate and pre-calculated way so that they can just sort of get what they want. And oftentimes it involves hurting other people. We're not going to get too much into that, but there's a lack of responsibility and accountability to others and a deceitfulness of such. So the psychopath sometimes it'll be even more difficult because they'll seem like they're sharing the responsibility, but yet you'll find that they then just have no ownership or no connection or no investment in the shared responsibility. So a house, kids, you'll think that they're responsible, but truly they don't feel they don't have that same sort of connection. It's different for someone who is psychopathic. It's just sort of people are really sort of objects that are kind of there when they need it, And even if there's human understanding, like we're married, we don't cheat on people, or our kids are where we put our emphasis, and you have your agreements. It really doesn't hold a lot of these abstract things like love, freedom, loyalty. They're not really sort of living in this person. They might live very strongly in you, but they'll give the illusion and the deception as if there's something that you're sharing. And then that's what's very, very disruptive, is that when you find that they're not your spouse at all, that they're not your parent at all, that they're not your boyfriend at all, they're not your girlfriend. They're just this decoy of a person. It's very, very scary, very traumatizing, very terrorizing to come through the brainwashing and the gaslighting that's involved with a psychopath. It's very, very difficult, but you can do this. Time and getting away and getting rid of everything in their life is crucial. And you'll find then that the universe will deliver to you right when you need it. They'll deliver people, experiences, events, situations that will fill up that void within you. Like a sinkhole, where you feel like you've had an abyss and bottomed out, and then here comes just what you needed: the book, the concert, the job offer, the relationship, the kind person, just what you needed. Well, but you do the work. You do the work, getting out of from under the guise of the authority of this individual, and getting a balance. And a balance which means flexible. I'm flexible enough to give them up. I'm flexible enough to give them up. And then the pain comes with the anguish and guilt. That you can't fulfill the relationship. You cannot fulfill the relationship and then what you have designed and built into your heart. So the fulfillment now has to be redirected. Remember the view? You own the view. You go and then create that view for yourself. Little by little, you take more responsibility, and I'm not guilty. This is not guilty. This is, the feeling is one of guilt, but there's something more of a feeling of almost like the feeling of an original sin, which is to turn away from that who has created you. There's a feeling of a separation anxiety and a feeling of hurting another people by saying no to a narcissist or saying no to them, because you're detaching from the blood supply or the trauma bond. And it's very difficult to let that go because you're so used to being made small and being in a fearful place that fear becomes really all you know. And the release of fear and contentment and peace and safety becomes desired. But sometimes it only becomes a wish. I wish I felt at home. In fact, I do have a home. I wish I felt secure. Actually, I am secure. I wish I felt calm. Yet I really am calm. It is okay to be these other states, to be calm, serene, secure, content, focused, studied, with interests, with relationships, with intimacy, with romance. Okay? Start getting the vision for these other things, and then slowly, you'll be able to balance it out, because you cannot simultaneously feel guilty and then, and then break free. I mean, you have to, it's going to become slowly reduced, that feeling of being inhibited, fearful, shy, lacking confidence, lacking, it's a fear, but you must give that fear back to the source where it came from and say, thank you very much, but you can have that, and to sort of give it away. You have to give it away. In fact, you can do it right now. I'm just giving it back. Give it back to them, and with these birds, just give it back. Give it to the birds. Give all of their hurts to the birds in the world and let them sing 1,000 songs with it. Give the pain, or give it to all the trees in the world and let them grow in strength. And give it all to the trees. They can handle it. Give it to the divine. Give it to the universe and let them recycle it. Let the infinite divine intelligence recycle it. Give it to something bigger and better and beyond yourself. And then you call in your higher consciousness. Then you call in your being, and then you feel this release, and you can breathe easier and have a sigh of relief. But you have to give it to that which is bigger and greater than yourself. And if it helps you, give it to all the sparrows, or give it to all the blue jays, or give it to all the birds in the world that are flying in their migration. Let them process it. In the highest of the Gulf winds, God can recycle it. The universe, Mother Nature, can recycle it and get it away from you and cleanse your aura and cleanse your personal space in your heart. Okay, but you have to literally give it up, mean surrender, and just say, this is not mine. It is, those false accusations and those illusions are not your reality. You have to own that and repeat that affirmation and live and breathe through it, and then take action, which then validates and give yourself more experiences, even if it's little by little. And we'll go into more videos about that, where you greater and greater responsibility for yourself and your happiness, where then you have the element of choice. I choose happiness. Make that your affirmation today, and let it serve you and let it guide you. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony. I hope these videos help. Please share, please subscribe, and please be happy. Choose happiness. You can do it little by little. Even if you feel it for only 10 minutes, I feel happy. Jump up. Hold on to it. Make space for happiness. Give it to yourself and do what makes you happy. You can do this. Do what makes you happy little by little. You got it.